Okay, the nominee for the chairmanship of INEC, please, the floor is yours. You can make comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much, distinguished senators. My name is Mahmood Yakubu. I come from Bauchi State, born there several years ago, educated in Bauchi. I attended a rural teachers college in rural Bauchi State, was admitted to the University of Sokoto. I studied history, made a first class, and then His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, granted me a scholarship to go to Cambridge, where I obtained a master's degree in 1987, and from there proceeded to the University of Oxford, where again I was an overseas research scholar granted by the Committee of Vice Chancellors of UK Universities. I was a Commonwealth scholar, finished my PhD at the age of 29, returned to the University of Jos, where I taught for 7 years before I crossed over to the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1993, where I still teach. I became a professor on 1st October 1998 at the age of 36. I was Dean of Faculty several times, Dean of Postgraduate School, Director of Academic Planning, and then I joined the Federal Ministry of Education in 2006 for the reform of the education sector, during which period I was privileged to serve as a member of the federal government team that renegotiated the 2009 agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities. I also had the privilege of chairing 2 presidential committees, one on needs assessment of Nigerian public universities, the other one on consolidation of tertiary institutions. I also served as a member of the Presidential Committee for the establishment of 12 new federal universities. When ASU went on strike in 2012, 2013, I was drafted to come and work with ASU and the Ministry of Education towards a resolution. And that led to the establishment of the Needs Assessment Implementation Committee, which interestingly was chaired by distinguished Senator Ibrahim Shekarau as Honorable Minister of Education. It was a very big experience for me, the only member in my own right. The sum of 300 billion was granted for the revitalization of Nigerian universities. I served as chairman of the Funds Allocation Committee and also the chairman of Proposal Defense Committee. So I've been around for some time. I was the executive secretary of the Education Trust Fund, actually the last executive secretary of the ETF, and the first executive secretary of TED Fund. After the end of my tenure, I was appointed assistant secretary responsible for finance and admin at the last national conference in 2014. And thereafter, in November 2015, I was appointed chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. So this is by way of very brief summary, distinguished senators, who I have been. Now in the commission, meaning INEC, distinguished senators have requested me to, just by way of summary, tell you what we have done and what more we intend to do. There is a document that I've shared with distinguished senators. It's in 8 pages. Perhaps there is no point going over the issues blow by blow. Maybe the distinguished senators may wish to ask me questions. But let me start with the conduct of elections, which is the biggest business of the commission. Under my chairmanship, we have conducted more elections in the history of Nigeria than any previous electoral commissions. On appointment in 2015, we had to grapple with 80 nullified elections from the 2015 general elections. And as we concluded them, more elections came up. End of tenure, court order to run elections. So it has been election and election all through. We conducted 178 elections, or elections for 178 constituencies before the 2019 general elections. And the 2019 general elections also coincided with the FCT area council elections. So we conducted the FCT area council elections twice. The first one in 2016 and the second one in 2019, in the only part of the country where by law INEC conducts local government elections. So we had additional 68 constituencies to conduct elections for in 2019. My other responsibility in the commission was to register and regulate political parties. 91 political parties were registered before the 2019 general elections. And following the fourth alteration to the Constitution of Nigeria, which empowers the commission under the Constitution to deregister political parties, 74 of the 91 political parties were deregistered, leaving a total of 18 political parties today. Registration of voters. For the first time in the history of elections in Nigeria, we conducted registration of voters as provided by law on a continuous basis. Earlier, voter registration was intermittent on the eve of elections, either governorship election in states or general elections. But over a period of 16, 17 months, we conducted continuous voter registration nationwide and added over 14 million new registrants to the voters register, which took us to 84 million before the 2019 general elections. I'm very happy to say that INEC has the largest register of citizens in the country and one of the largest databases of citizens in Africa. We have strengthened electoral management through regular engagement with the stakeholders. As a matter of course, we meet with stakeholders on a quarterly basis, whether there was any important issue to discuss or there was none. We tried very hard to ensure transparency and openness in the process, introduced new innovations. We introduced several portals to take care of nomination of candidates by political parties, accreditation of media for elections, accreditation of civil society organizations as election observers, recruitment of ad hoc staff is also done through a dedicated portal. And the commission at the time I left was working on a new portal for accreditation of polling agents for elections. One of the dedicated portals was the uploading of polling unit level results, which happened for the very first time in the history of elections in Nigeria. What this means is that on election day, citizens can view polling unit level results in real time as elections closed. We had a pilot in Nasarawa Central State Constituency, deployed the same in the Edo governorship election, and deployed the same in the Ondo governorship election. And on December 5th, the commission is going to deploy the same portal in 15 constituencies across 11 states of the Federation when we conduct several by-elections. We also tried hard to promote inclusivity by engaging with persons with disability. We introduced for the first time in Nigeria the Braille ballot guide so that visually impaired voters in Nigeria can actually vote unaided. For those who have difficulty, sight difficulty, like the albinos, working with the Albino Foundation, we also introduced the magnifying glasses at polling unit level. We continue to deepen the deployment of the building of the capacity of citizens displaced by internal emergencies so that they can vote during elections. That's by way of IDP voting. And then from early this year, we were confronted by a new reality, the COVID-19 pandemic. The Commission developed the policy for conducting elections in the context of COVID-19 pandemic, which we used to conduct all the elections conducted since the outbreak of the pandemic so far. I want to say, Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, that we are the first and at a point, the only electoral commission in Africa to come up with a policy for conducting elections under the COVID-19 pandemic. Our policy became a reference point for many electoral commissions. Within our sub-region, I had the privilege of serving as the chairman or the president of the ECOWAS network of electoral commissions. In that capacity, I visited at least 10 out of the 15 countries in the sub-region. And on needs assessment and other visits. And Nigeria supported these countries to strengthen the electoral process. For instance, Nigeria supported Guinea-Bissau with the electronic registration, biometric registration machines, and supported Sierra Leone and Liberia. As we speak, distinguished senators, the staff of the commission are in the Republic of Liberia, helping to clean up the register of voters ahead of the midterm elections on the 8th of December this year. That will also be combined with a referendum. What are the challenges? So many challenges confronted. One of the most difficult challenges for me was having to postpone by a week the 2019 general elections. It was really a very painful decision for the commission to take. Not for the first time in the history of the commission, but it was a very painful decision. I addressed the nation at 2 a.m. on February the 16th, and then in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, I also addressed the world media at the International Conference Center and explained in detail the reason why election had to be postponed. I have nothing to add beyond what I have said, and what I said was widely shared. Then learning from that experience, we are working very hard to ensure that this kind of experience does not happen again. So far, we have identified going into the 2023 general elections 1,508 activities. These activities have to be undertaken in the next 813 days for us to deliver on the 2023 general elections. We have only 2 years, 2 months, and 3 weeks, or 813 days to the 2023 general elections. We have learned a lot and will continue to learn a lot. And as you can see, elections are getting progressively better. The last 2 elections have proven, that's the Edo and Ondo governorship elections, that will continue to improve on the electoral processes. Mr. Chairman, if you allow a professor to continue speaking, perhaps I will take all the time to speak, but perhaps I should stop at this point, and I'll be very happy to answer questions from distinguished senators. Thank you, distinguished chair. Thank you, distinguished senators.